Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, before we get into this story, I will just say something extraordinary. This is my 3,000th video. That's a lot by any measure. 3,000 videos I've done. I've come a long way, baby, and it's all been thanks to you. So I want to thank each and every one of you for welcoming me, letting me be part of your daily grind, and allowing me to bring you the truth of the awfulness of what is happening. So thank you, and we move on to the story. Although we will look forward to doing 4,000 and 5,000 and 10,000 and 100,000. Who knows? How long have I got? Anyway, we've got this story now, which is all about Neil Gray. He's nearly 2 weeks into the job, which has given him sufficient time to work out that it's not his fault, because nothing ever will be. Obviously, he was vastly, terribly over-promoted into the role. He's never had anything like it before. He lacks the knowledge, the experience, and the intelligence. He certainly never run a role of being a health secretary, the biggest department in Scotland. He came from basically the economy and energy, which was all box ticking and paper filing. It wasn't dealing with people. And that is why 2 weeks in, he's realised that it's an awful shit show and that he can't handle it. But rather than take the blame himself after 17 years of SNP misrule, he's worked out that he can blame outside forces, and so he is. And so why is Scottish health so bad? Well, in his words, COVID, Ukraine, and Westminster. Because of course it is. It's never the SNP's fault. But when he mentioned this, he was in Holyrood in the chamber yesterday, and he mentioned it, and the groans went around the chamber because he insisted that it was not the SNP to be blamed for swinging the axe on all these planned new buildings and constructions and things like the hospitals in Inverness and Fort William. No way, not his fault. Just 2 weeks ago, on the day he took over, he announced that there'd be these 10 new diagnostic centres. And then on Friday last, he had to admit that they were cancelling it because they didn't have the money. They actually do have the money. The money's not in question. It's just they've decided that they're going to spend it on foreign embassies, not on health. So that's fine. When Granny's dying, you can look at a rancid corpse and think, well, Nanny died for a noble cause. Somebody's cousin has got a job in a nice city, being very well paid. And that's the basis of it. But he's got these groans. He's saying that these building projects are all the fault of Westminster, all the fault of Ukraine, all the fault of COVID, not his fault. Even Kate Forbes was calling on him to explain why the Fort William Hospital project has been cancelled. Someone from within his own party is already unhappy with his work. Although Kate Forbes will happily point out all the foibles under Humza Yousaf, of course, as she's aiming to oust him. Annabel Ewing pointed out that Lochgelly was promised a new health centre in 2011, and this remains unfulfilled. It's been 13 years and it is still not there. Why? What is wrong with the SNP? Why do they not care about health? Is independence for them far more important than people's lives? Surely not. But obviously, yes. Yes, it is. He stood there in the in the chamber. He was asked these questions, and he looked like a rabbit in the headlines. He understood the issues, he said. He pointed out over the border to Westminster and said there was no money. Look, they're not giving us the money. Even though last year Westminster gave the most money they've ever given in the entire history of devolution. Strange, isn't it? Maybe spending all that money on other things is a bad idea. If you watch him, he actually went on and said that all these capital contracts and projects across the country, they're under threat. Not because of the Scottish government as anything, not that they've done anything. It's not them. It's not the Scottish government. It's not Shona Robinson cutting the funding. Oh, no, no, no. It's because of the UK government's disastrous management of the economy. Are you kidding me? These things, some of them going back 15 years and still not built. And he's blaming the Tories for this. They've had more money than Croesus, and yet they've wasted it at every opportunity on things that don't matter, and then moaning about the fact that they haven't got them. This is a joke, isn't it? Like I say, you had those 10 projects that he announced, and they've all gone. Then you've got Regmore in Inverness, the hospital there. That's gone. Edinburgh and North Lanarkshire will also miss out on their hospitals and buildings. This isn't the UK government. This is him. This is him personally standing there and not spending the money. And why? Because he hasn't got any. And why? Because of Shona Robinson. And why? Because of independence. There. It's all independence. Everything they do is through that lens. And that is why they're doing nothing. But he said that it's all the fault of the UK government down in Westminster and the grants that they give them. And the high inflation. It was high inflation and the money wasn't given, blah, blah, blah. As I say, the money was given and he just doesn't want to accept that it was wasted. That's the main problem. He said, there's what was it, the capital budget? He was going on about the capital budget. He said, there's a real cut. No, the UK government don't give you money in terms of, oh, you've got to spend this on infrastructure. You've got to have it. They just give you a lump sum. How you spend it is your own budget. It is your own matter. And if there is a cut in the budget, that's because Shona has cut it. You cannot blame Westminster for what Shona Robinson does. But they were all moaning at him. You know, and you got all these places that are cut, all these buildings not built, all these treatment centres, all these hospitals. That directly affects the lives and health and well-being of real people up and down the country. Not some ludicrous arbitrary plan that maybe in 30 years we might get an independent Scotland and it might join the EU, blah, blah, blah. People are dying now. While he's standing there bullshitting his balls off, people are dying. And of course, it isn't just him. Humza was the guy before him. They're all there. They're all there. And they're all to blame. Years of mismanagement, years of neglect, years of literally not caring. And of course, the longer these things go on, the higher the cost. Anything built 10 years ago would have paid for itself since then. But they don't get that because they haven't got a clue. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand the costs. They don't understand basic economics. And that's why it's all falling apart. And that's why people in Scotland are literally dying for independence. And it will never, ever come because people aren't stupid enough. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching this, my 3,000th video. Woohoo. And thank you very much for all you wonderful subscribers. And if you are yet to subscribe, now is an ideal chance. So do please help the channel grow. Till next time, though, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. But do remember one thing. Unless you change this government, people you know are going to die. And that's what's totally sad. Thank you and goodbye.